Great to see you once again. Let's start with China's commitments, the role that it's played when it comes to climate change. Do you foresee here China usurping the U.S., playing a bigger role than the U.S. when it comes to progressive policies toward climate change?
Well, since late 2014, when Presidents Obama and Xi were together and announced our work together in climate, China has played an ascendant role. And now, with the uncertainty, obviously, in the United States, China's made it very clear it's prepared to step forward. What I want to emphasize, that stepping forward, not merely in taking domestic actions, in being a bigger part of the international conversation, but also, frankly, in trying to capture a bigger part of the energy technology innovation agenda that will be part of a multi-trillion-dollar global market. So we also are at risk of losing major economic opportunities in a future low-carbon economy.
Let me ask you about the energy landscape in light of that. This president has been very keen on talking about bringing back coal. You've been a proponent in part of clean coal. What do you see the coal industry looking like here over these next few years?
Well, first of all, I think the actions being taken on the Clean Power Plan really are unlikely to change the coal country dynamic very much. For one thing, the natural gas looks like it's still going to be inexpensive, and frankly, large capital commitments, which are decadal in scope, are not going to change. However, what we did, and what I think still remains the right approach, is in fact to do the innovation that will let coal be a contributor in a low-carbon economy. And that means really moving forward on carbon capture, burying the CO2 underground. In fact, we proposed major tax credits for this. I think that's something this administration and Congress should push.
I think about that Kemper clean coal plant that Southern's building right now. It's behind schedule. It's over budget. Should we read anything into that? Does that say anything about where clean coal is as an industry in this country right now?
Well, that is an extremely ambitious project, and my personal view, it might have been a bigger step than necessary to move forward, but it's a very innovative technology. It's first of a kind, and there's no doubt they are running into schedule delays and cost overruns. But it is a glimpse in some sense at what the possibilities are. But again, it's innovation, drive the cost down. Carbon capture today is still expensive, but if we just go at it the way we can with American ingenuity, I'm very convinced that we can get those costs down.
When it comes to the Paris Climate Accord, how much determinism does the president have? Is he able to take us out of that agreement on his own?
Well, I think it's possible, but I think more likely would be what one is seeing in terms of addressing some of the actions put in place to reach the Paris Agreement. But I do want to emphasize two elements of what I would call stability in the context of the world, in my view, unquestionably going to a low-carbon economy. Those two factors are, number one, I think the business community really understands that that's where we are going globally. It's an international issue. As I said earlier, it's an international market that is developing. They want to be in that market. Secondly, the states have taken a big leadership role. We have 29 states that have mandatory renewable energy requirements, for example, representing 70% of our population. Those, by and large, are going forward. So there are many, many elements of the program that will go forward. I don't want to be Pollyannish. I think if the administration follows through on some of its actions, it will certainly provide bumps in the road, but it's a long road, and we're not going to deviate from it in the long term.
Let me close with a couple of questions pegged to the news of the day, this meeting with the Chinese leadership and also your new job with the Nuclear Threat Initiative. You have Westinghouse Electric. There's interest among the Chinese in buying Westinghouse Electric. The White House has expressed some trepidation about that particular sale. Do you share their concerns?
I have a concern which is specifically about the United States not being a major part of the international supply chain in nuclear power. And a reason for that is that, we basically set the gold standard for nuclear non-proliferation requirements. And if we aren't a big player, if China or many other countries be the ones who have a much amplified role in the supply chain, for example, by buying Westinghouse, that could really diminish not only our economic interests, but our national security interests.
Last question here about nuclear waste and how it should be disposed of. You have some lawmakers agitating for a return to looking at Yucca Mountain, a one-stop shop to deploy, to take care of nuclear waste. Are you in favor of a solution like that, or does that create more problems than it's worth?
Well, you know, I was on a commission before becoming secretary, chaired by two very distinguished Americans, Lee Hamilton and Brent Scowcroft. And the most important thing I believe that commission said is, we're not going to solve this problem unless we focus on getting consent that aligns the interests of localities, states, and the federal government. Yucca Mountain, regrettably, does not fit into that category. So we put forward a much more diverse program with many options. Part of it would be a geological repository, like Yucca Mountain is proposed to be, but it could be in other geologies. But also, we should have consolidated storage of spent fuel, move it away from the reactors. We think we should also provide the option of separating the nuclear power plant spent fuel from the nuclear weapons program waste. We believe that would be, it gives much more optionality. I believe we can move faster to start moving spent fuel away from nuclear power plants.